Good morning. I'd like to welcome everyone to Williamson County Board of Commissioners regularly scheduled monthly meeting. It's Tuesday, January 13th, 2026. It's 10 a.m. Roll call, please.
Tim Atkinson,
Present.
Jim Marlowe,
Present.
Jim Rice.
Present.
This time I'd ask everybody to rise while we say pledge of allegiance. Pledge of allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for this beautiful day. Thank you for blessings that you provide to us each and every day. Thank you for your presence in this room. Thank you for those that have come here to help today. We always thank you for being with, protecting first responders, our armed forces. They are scattered all over the globe so that we may live safely here in the greatest nation. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
All right, gentlemen, on our consent agenda, everybody have an opportunity to look through the minutes and reports in cell time. Any changes or comments, concerns? Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved. Second.
Roll call, please.
Tim Atkinson,
Yeah.
Jim Marlowe,
Yay.
Jim Rice.
Yes.
We can move on down to highway on the agenda. George, could you come up and tell us about this big purchase that you're in?
Yes. Well, thank you guys for considering this. We had a letting for 2 snow trucks late December, and we got 2 good bids. We decided to go with with McBride due to some metrics. McBride, and I believe it's a CSI or there's 3 letters, but out of the Metro East put in. And both of them were quality trucks. They're the same truck set up 2 different ways, but both of them were quality trucks. The McBride offered Mack that'll fit. That's what we run mostly now. So the uniformity would be great, and part availability would be great. And they gave us quite a bit more for our trade-ins. So we ask your approval to purchase those 2 trucks.
George, when you sent this out, were there any vendors in Williamson County that we can send that to?
Those McBride is the only vendor
And they are.
that offers that, and they are always, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Just want to make sure. I know he's standing here.
Absolutely, yes, sir.
These going to be set up for snow and everything else?
Yes, sir. Have the boxes, new plow, all the most current electronics for to get the most coverage for your salt.
These prices include that.
That's correct. Yes, sir. They're completely set up.
So these are pretty much ready to go.
Ready to go.
Once you get here, you're.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
This is an order. When will you see the unit?
October of 26. It still takes a while.
10 months out.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, and that's actually that's actually good. You know, a lot of folks still talk about 18 months,
Yeah.
but there's a good path forward to October.
Good. Any more questions about this? So motion to approve this purchase?
Make a motion to approve the purchase of 2 tandem trucks for the highway department. Amount is $491,712.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Tim Atkinson,
Yeah.
Jim Marlowe,
Yeah.
Jim Rice.
Yay.
Thank you.
Moving on down, that was on highway business you had, right? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Down to old business. Jim, could you tell us what's going on here?
Yeah, the 708 board had an application for the opioid fund from the Shawnee Health, the name of the agency. And the way the system works, 708 board, which is the mental health board, has been tasked to vet the applicants for the opioid fund, which is totally separate from the levy. And so they have Shawnee Health was approved by the 708 board, and that's run through our state's attorney to get his approval. I know he originally approved it, and I know it came before the board to approve his decision, which I really don't know why we need to approve his decision. We just need his okay. And we had some questions, which is fine. Not a problem. But just brought back up with approval. We have approval. So, so that's what we're here for. This is one that we did approve too, the last go around. This one, we had a question. I don't know if your questions were answered. Jim, I know you had some questions on it. I did too, but in looking back at the requirements, they're pretty broad requirements. And I found a number of instances being within the requirements that might be used. So I'm going to make a motion that we approve the funding, the opioid funding for the Shawnee Health Department. Their opioid request is $160,000. So we'll do that. I'll make a motion.
Okay, we have the breakdown on this. And Commissioner Razor, I think last time, your question, my question was, we want the money to be spent for salaries. Is that what you must?
It's not as, yes, I mean, that was part of it, but it's a little deeper than that. It can't replace salaries that already exist. I found that from multiples. Johns Hopkins has published a couple of documents on what they call the Opioid Principles Project. The Network for Public Health has a law fact sheet. Colorado State, and what they're saying is you can't use this money to replace salaries that already exist and use that money somewhere else. And I just feel like that's what they're still trying to do here. This is for new hires, new equipment, new programs. I'm not opposed to them having the money. I just want to see it used the way we're told it's supposed to be used.
Okay. Brett, did you have a legal opinion on this?
I mean, I think Commissioner Razor is correct in that it's not intended to take over already existing employee expense. It's designed to be a program. It's designed to not replace funding. From an accounting standpoint, they probably can make it work, make it look like it needs to look like on paper, but that's, if you guys approve it, that's what you'll have to make sure it is doing what it's doing.
Did anyone hear from Shawnee today?
You know, when you look at these, what it can be used for, this is the breakdown here, the approved abatement programs, list of opioid remediation uses. Talks about expanding training, you know, for various categories. Expanding requires someone to do, which would require a salary. And once again, like I said, this has been run by our state's attorney, who gave his approval of it. So I'm kind of leaning on the fact that I will agree with our state's attorney. Like I said, my motion stands. If not, then it's a waste of time for the 708.
I tell you what, I want to reconfirm with Ted. Joe, would you have an issue if we brought this back in this afternoon's meeting?
I prefer to go that route. I don't want to vote no on this.
I don't know. I want, but
I want to get this done, but I need the application to reflect what it needs to reflect to fit these documents.
and I want to confirm, I want to just confirm one more time, with the state's attorney to make sure that if we do vote on this, give this money away, we'll cover,
Right.
we'll cover. Because he'll be the one that has to defend us if that's the case.
Right.
So,
I don't have a problem with that. And I do have a problem with the way this whole thing has been set up. Because to prevent this happening in the future, I think this board needs to meet the 708. If it's not good enough coming from the state's attorney, I mean, we're wasting our time. I'm on the 708. We're wasting our time approving this, wasting everybody's time.
okay. I don't disagree with that. All right, let's move this to this afternoon's meeting. We'll see if we can get some answers on this today.
Comments?
I don't represent any party, but I'm hearing impaired, and I'm asking you if you could speak loudly, please. Thank you,
I will do my best.
thank you.
I'm sorry, sometimes my voice is pretty weak up here. All right, does anybody have anything else for old business? All right, down to new business. James? We'll talk with Mayor.
Apologize, I'm not 100%. I'm just throwing televised mask on across my face at the moment. So I'm not going to be on my meeting today. So our agreement is coming due. I don't think any meetings. First thing I wanted to say real quick is that if we need to push it, you guys need more time so they can push.
No, this is the first time I've seen this, Jack.
We emailed it out, I think, once.
2 weeks ago.
Right, so, and that's fine, I have no problem pushing it. I never come to you guys and immediately ask for an answer for it. There are just a couple of small changes. And obviously, we're gonna have an increase in our rates and things like that, but I do think that some of the servers we have are gonna go away as we finish a couple of migrations. See if our accounts are gonna come down a little bit. So we are going to introduce some new cybersecurity stuff. We actually turn around, we've been running 701, which is endpoint detection and response. It's basically an antivirus on steroids, okay? And
James, could you speak up just a little bit?
yeah, I apologize, man, I'm trying.
Yeah.
So we've been running 701, which is an antivirus on steroids, okay? And we actually were able to get that now at a higher version of it for free because we want to introduce what's called Vigilance, which is a 24/7 security operations center that's actually watching all of our antivirus malware. It's basically a whole team of actual humans that watch it, as opposed to only relying on us. These are tried and true cybersecurity experts. So for us, this is a huge benefit. So we were able to get that for the upgrade for free, as long as we got into 701, which we did end up, the new Vigilance stuff, which we did end up getting for 50% off as well. So we are asking for an increase in that cybersecurity software. And there's another piece of software we'd like to include, which is called Huntress Scene. It's a security manager where basically it goes out and it's monitoring all of the logs of the workstations, servers, firewalls, basically everything across the board, organizes it, correlates it, and basically tells us if something's going on. So if, let's say, if we do happen to get breached or if we have lateral movement through the network, these logs are going to be able to show exactly what happened. So if at any point in time we have to get like the FBI involved or something like that, this is a huge vital thing that they would say, do you have this? And if we don't, they can build it, but it takes forever to build. This is like a needle in a haystack of needles. So this would really help us out just to have that in case something would happen. So, and it's relatively inexpensive. And again, for these two new additions, we did get them for 50% off just because of the bulk of license prices. So So I think we did pretty well with it, but it is an addition that we would like to have, which is kind of why we split it out now into its own separate category to show that it's its own cost. So, other than that, for the most part, everything else is staying the same. We are asking a new agreement instead of going 3 years without a rate change. That instead of waiting up to 3 years for like a 10 or 15% bump, that we would bump 5% a year instead, making it just smoother rather than huge jump. So we've kind of found that for most of our clients, it actually works out better. Typically, we would like to raise 5% per year. Since we added on some cybersecurity stuff, we actually only raising 10% as far as our services are concerned. There's a lot of other things that didn't get changed as far as places like licensing from other places. But we didn't increase the extra 5% because we wanted the cybersecurity stuff. So we kind of played one off the other a little bit just to try to help. But we really want that cybersecurity stuff. So other than that, as far as this agreement goes, man, over the last 3 years, we've certainly done an awful lot of work in this space. It's been constant deployment for 3 years. And I think we've made an incredible amount of headway in this place for the things that we do. The security now that we have, the redundancies that we have. We've worked really dang hard on this space for 3 years. So, in my opinion. So, amount of time we've spent and a lot. So, the next packet you have is from Microsoft 365. These agreements kind of go hand in hand. We did approve this agreement back in August when we were going to move to Microsoft 365, but there's been a change. There's another cybersecurity product they wanted to add onto here, which is why I remade it. And the good thing of remaking it is technically we're getting all of this whole package cheaper than what it would have cost us back in August if we had it then. Okay, so last time you guys approved, like the backups and Avon, which is the anti-spam and anti-malware protection for Microsoft 365. But now we want to include Huntress ITDR. It's basically a piece of software that stops malicious access. So for instance, its main claim to fame is, and we're seeing this constantly with our clients, is that let's say somebody logs in from Williamson County and then 5 minutes later, there's an alert that pops up that says, oh, well, Tim just logged in from Afghanistan. Obviously Tim couldn't get there in 5 minutes. Now it's amazing to me that Microsoft doesn't have the ability to actually stop this from happening on its own, but another piece of software is necessary for it. This is a #1 way of stopping somebody from logging into an account unauthorized. If they somehow take control of your account, this piece of software is the #1 thing for it. Overall, compared to the pricing we had in August, we're actually getting everything we had in August now 35% cheaper. And that includes this new ITDR. So realistically, we're spending a little bit more, but in the bigger picture, we're actually saving a ton of money compared to what you already approved in August. See what I'm saying? So that's that slight change in there for that. Other than that, it's everything with Microsoft 365 is going to stay the same. So I know since you guys are seeing this, I'm sure you'll have some questions later. If you do, feel free to email me and I can answer them. Are there any right now that you guys may have?
Improved pricing you talked about on one security, I think is 50% off. Is that for a brief time, the
That's right.
entire time?
That's right. You're never going to see, in 3 years or something, there might be a bump in price, but I'm still always keeping it at that 50% off thing. Right now, our agreement says that if a vendor changes pricing for something, say they increase it by 15%, you're going to see that 15% or 15 cents, let's say, increase. But it's not going to be me that's actually taking away the discount or anything. So it's all the bulk of what we're doing. We're trying to, across all of our governments and clients, we literally went to these vendors and said, here's how many total endpoints we have of all of our clients. We want way better pricing because we want this software. We want it for everybody, but you got to do better. And that's where we've come to. So we're really going to be in a majorly advanced cybersecurity situation here in the next term. So that's what our goal is. So.
Okay. I need some time to digest this, gentlemen, unless you want to make a decision on this today. Sure.
If you guys have any questions, please feel free to just email me. I'll respond immediately.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Have a great afternoon.
You too. Jacob, there he is, right there in front. Let's talk about Hope Trust and dividend checks. This is something that's unusual.
Yeah, it's nice for Brett and I can finally come to a meeting and not ask for something and be able to give something. So if you guys recall, at our conference as well as at a commissioners meeting last year, I had mentioned that the Hope Trust will be giving dividends back to the participating counties, cities, school districts, et cetera. So the executive board, which is made up of like-kind entities like yourself, voted to give dividends back. So the dividend is based off of the size of the county as well as how many years you have participated. So I think it's neat, like you said, it's very uncommon for an insurance company to give you funds back. We're happy to do so. The executive board felt that things were going well enough in the Hope Trust to give funds back. So it gives me pleasure to be able to give funds back to you guys. And that being said, I've actually got a check in the amount of $8,360 for you guys here. So, yep. Just like to mention, thank you guys for giving, Snedeker Risk Management and Hope Trust the opportunity to work with the county. And I think it's been a great relationship. Hope Trust continues to grow. We continue to add, counties and cities in this area. And, who knows, maybe in a few more years, we can give another one of these dividend checks back. So.
Well, that's not going to be a yearly thing. Huh?
No, probably not. Probably not. But, maybe every, 2, 3, or 4, depending on how things go. But the Hope Trust tries to run as lean as possible. And that being said, the executive board felt like it would be time to give funds back. So there's a check for $8,360. So I will go ahead and hand that to you guys here.
Much appreciated.
And I'd like to probably get some pictures if it'd be okay with you guys once the meeting's done.
Once we have the meeting done, absolutely. Love the
Okay.
pictures.
Wonderful.
Absolutely.
Once again, thank you guys. I appreciate it.
Thank No, plus single digit increase this past year. For 2 years in a row, single digit increase, which where we were at before, it was always double digit. And sometimes as high as 22%.
I believe I did the math on the overall average for as long as you guys have been in, I think we're right around like a 7 or 7.5%. You add up all the years you've been in. So keeping it single digit, which is budgetable, and trying to kind of do the best we can to kind of keep costs in check. So.
And from what I'm hearing from labor unions and employees, our employees are happy with the coverage, they're happy with the insurance. And very easy for them to use.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're I'm very happy. I don't want to speak for the board. I'm very happy.
Absolutely.
I think that was a very good decision this board made. Well, thank you, Jacob and Brett. We appreciate you guys. And as soon as the meeting's over, we'll get a picture.
Wonderful. Thank you.
All right. Williamson County Community Wildfire Protection Plan. Now, this is a resolution. Brett, but I think we're good to have this in new business.
Yeah, we're fine.
In a resolution section. So, Brian, would you kind of run down some details for us on this?
Absolutely. For the members of the audience who are not familiar with who I am, my name is Brian Burgess. I'm the Director of Emergency Management for Williamson County. Our office partnered with the Williamson County Fire Protection District about 2 years ago to inquire about community wildfire reduction programs. And we found that when we went to apply for grant dollars for equipment, training, and mitigation work, that those grant dollars were usually reserved for communities who had a community wildfire reduction program. In order to have that program, you have to do the community wildfire reduction plan. So we found grant dollars to engage Greater Egypt to write our plan. And it's taken us right at about 18 months to get through the planning process. And hopefully you had an opportunity to at least page through the document I shared with you last week. It'll show that there are several people who were on the planning committee once the Greater Egypt engaged the planning process. Those entities were all the local fire departments, street and highway department. It was the U.S. Forest Service. It was Crab Orchard National Wildlife Refuge Fire Service, several other state agencies as well as federal agencies were involved, because not only do we incorporate the refuge, but we also have a portion of the Shawnee that touches Williamson County as well. So we engaged all those community partners, and we came together and we basically determined where our risk factors were, and do we have what they call a wildland interface. So basically, because we're we're mostly rural, what we consider semi-rural, we have interfaces just about everywhere. So what defines a wildfire? Wildfire is defined by any fire in a vegetative state that is out of control, that impacts either farm ground, timbered ground, or populated or residential type ground. So that basically is anything in Williamson County outside of a rubbish pile. So with that being said, we looked at what would be the need for our residents. So we went back and we looked at different mitigation strategies, and some of those were things like adding equipment, adding personnel, adding training for dealing with them, dealing with wildfires once wildfires becomes an issue. But the biggest piece was that mitigation. And that mitigation piece is bringing dollars into the departments and into the area to do things like prescribed burn trainings and prescribed burns for homeowners and property owners. One of the things that we found after the May 8th event several years ago was there was a lot of down timber. For 5 to 7 years after those events, that down timber serves as tenderous burn, what they call leaf litter or down trees litter, and that causes fires to extend in their duration and also in their intensity, because you have large diameter trees on the ground. So we're also seeing that in the tornado area after the May 16th event. So we're having issues with how do we deal with that. So if we have people who are trained, if we have burn bosses that are trained and we can actually do prescribed burns, we can go in for homeowners at no cost under the grant and actually do prescribed burns for those areas and try to reduce some of those fuel in those areas. So the first step was to get the plan written. Once the plan is written, then I was to address you to adopt this by resolution, very similar to our multi-hazard mitigation plan. Once you guys adopt this as a county, you're acknowledging the plan in its entirety, and you're acknowledging that there are mitigation strategies within the plan. We are not bound by any of the mitigation strategies by entering into this plan or entering into this resolution. We're just saying that we're aware of those mitigation strategies, and if grant dollars if grant dollars are available and our departments can apply for those, then they will seek those grants. So basically what I'm asking the board to do today is to consider the resolution, to adopt this plan by resolution. Once you guys have considered, if you have adopted it, then I will go to those local municipalities, those fire chiefs, and ask their boards or their city councils to adopt it as well, so that when we go to apply for these grants, we get scored higher on these applications because we have a standing plan at the county level.
Is there any questions?
Brett, is this, have you looked at this?
Yeah.
Good with it?
I mean, this is a good deal. We get everything we want, and we know from all the other grants that we do, if you don't have a plan, it's really hard to get the grant.
Great, it's very similar to what George goes
Very
through,
different.
yeah, with those plans as well.
And this is really kind of the first step in getting the plan for those grants.
Yeah, so there are some that aren't even approachable without the plan.
So,
And those are usually the high dollar grants.
all right, so gentlemen, do you have any questions about this? Is there a motion to approve this resolution?
Motion that we approve resolution number 26-01-13-08, adopting the Williamson County Community Wildfire Protection Plan.
Second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Tim Atkinson.
Yeah.
Jim Marlowe.
Yay.
Jim Ricer.
Thank
Thank you
Brian.
for
Appreciate it.
consideration.
Good job, thank you. Actually here, let me see. He talked out in the meeting about the DBAM software maintenance and support. You don't have to just run out. Oh, he didn't talk to you about it?
It's still part of the migration. we're at a point now where we're not going on the new software until September. The contract with B-Band is going to expire before then. And to get some of the transfers that we may still need and some of the access. When we drop the maintenance agreement, we can no longer log in and manipulate it. We can only log in and view. So this was for a partial, not for a full year, was my understanding.
Right.
I don't want to say a number because I don't remember. There were a lot of numbers that day, and I
There were a
don't
lot of members that
want to
were.
put that on record, but I believe that's what it was, but I don't think it's fair to vote for it without getting here to
We're not,
completely address it.
we're not. And that was basically the rundown that I got from Ashley was that we're gonna have, we need to do something. We still need to have access to this program while we're installing new software. So, gentlemen, I would like to move this to the next agenda, next meeting agenda. Is that okay with you? Yes. Okay, so let's move it to the next one. Stephanie, did you make sure that it's on the next agenda? please?
Yes.
Next thing on our agenda today is the Department of Public Health fetal alcohol brochure compliance. This is from the county clerk's office. She's given us a letter today. And it says Public Act 096-1323 states that at least annually, the county board shall submit to the Illinois Department of Public Health a report as to the county clerk's compliance with the requirement that the clerk provides a pamphlet with each marriage and civil license. In accordance with PA 096-1323, there were 476 marriage and civil licenses issued. The fetal alcohol syndrome pamphlet was in the packet that is handed out with each license issued. And it's signed by Amanda Barnes, Williamson County Clerk. And Brett, I'm assuming that we have to acknowledge this through a vote.
Yeah, I mean, I think in order to comply,
I think we have to acknowledge this.
that should prove that it was.
It was read in open meeting, and it's on the record.
So I'll make a motion that we receive proof from our county clerk, Amanda Barnes, that she has complied with Public Act 096-1323 from the Department of Public Health.
Second.
Okay,
Good enough.
yeah, that's. Okay. Roll call, please.
Tim Atkinson.
Okay.
Jim Marlowe.
Okay.
Jim Riker.
Yay.
Next on the agenda, we have a couple of poker runs. Brett, I know when we send these over to you, make sure that all the T's are crossed and I's are dotted on both of these. I looked through them, they look good to me. Gentlemen, did you have the opportunity to look through them? Okay, do we see any reason to not approve these? Okay, can I have a motion to approve the poker run of Queen of Hearts application for Pearl Springs VFW Post 9763?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Tim Atkinson.
Yay.
Jim Marlowe.
Yay.
Jim Riker.
Yay.
Okay, and the next one is the Motorcycle Riders Memorial of Illinois. Memorial. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Tim Atkinson.
Yay.
Jim Marlowe.
Yay.
Jim Riker.
Yay.
Next on our agenda is contract for public defender Alan Rowe. I looked through this, it looked okay to me. We've done this a couple of times within the last few months, with a couple of other attorneys. Any questions or comments about this? Okay, is there a motion to approve this contract for public defender? That person is Alan Rowe, and the compensation is $36,606.36 per year.
I'll make a motion that we approve the contract for the public defender for Williamson County, Allen Rowe, at the compensation of $36,606.36.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Tim Atkinson.
Yay.
Jim Marlowe.
Yay.
Jim Riker.
Yay.
Okay, next on the agenda is the White Act discussion. And Ms. Marlowe, I know you wanted this on the agenda.
Yeah, what really sparked this, got a text the other day from Kevin Scuda, and talking about some maintenance. Now, White Ash does have a new system in place. We use the ARPA to put that in place. And the maintenance that he estimated cost about $2,000. So when I looked at the White Ash maintenance and repair fund, we had $1,900 in there. We could zero that out. And so money could be transferred from the White Ash fund back into the fund. But the point is, we've been dealing with this issue now since 2015, 2015. There's a lot of reasons why we need to let go of this, or at least start the process. Some of the reasons, of course, we have limited funds to operate. And those funds are limited. I think when I checked with Ashley just last week, we had approximately $49,000 in the suit. If in the possibility that, there's someone new pumps, one of the pumps would go out, a new pump, I think we talked about before, it costs $20,000. So it's really going to take that. There's not enough money going back into that. So I think that's one issue. Second issue is what you have the water sewer part. County and state of Illinois has a water sewer. So there's an issue. Somebody has to call one of us, could be any time of night. And if how we handle it, the only person I know to call would be Kevin Stewart. He's the one that maintains a lot of these municipal lift stations, stuff like that. But that got me to thinking, what would happen if something happened to Kevin Stewart? What if Kevin goes out of business? What if he's no longer around? I know originally, I talked to some of the plumbing agencies around here, they didn't have the equipment to handle lift stations. I don't know if that's changed. But the problem is, once again, we're putting all our eggs in one basket. So we've talked about this ever since 2015 that we need to back out. There's some other reasons too. We really don't have the authority to do a lot of things because we didn't need the system. Checked with the bond. There's approximately $84,000 left. So what would be some of the solutions? Possibility of maybe Johnson City taking it over. I know we've attempted to talk with them. I don't think we've made a great effort. That's still possible.
Well, I met with the mayor and 2 or 3 of the aldermen up there. And at that point, and that's been 2 years ago, there was no appetite from the city of Johnson City to take us over. And
So-
they received the sewer funds. And the residents, they pay a water bill to Pittsburgh. And part of that water bill is the sewer usage bill. And that goes straight to Johnson City. What comes to us goes to Johnson City, and that's where those funds come from. And then, there's no taxpayer money going into that. I want to be clear about that. There's absolutely no taxpayer money. The county does not put money into that.
We made that determination going back to 2014 to 15 when this all took place. We would not use money from our general fund. It's not the rest of the county's problem. Why it actually set it being solved. Another issue is, they've never had a sewer rate increase to handle some of these things. I checked with Johnson City, they've never issued a rate increase. We have to be very careful with it because the state would look at us if we did that. Now we are responsible for it now, but if the state remains, they have addressed us in times past when the county to do audit findings report on a yearly basis, which would cost over $40,000, which would get into the general fund, which is what we determined we did not want to do. So we had really no authority. I think we gave them a new system, but I think the time is now for us to set a deadline to plan and exit strategy. Now, I'm not saying this has to be done next week or the end of the month or anything like that. I would like to set a deadline by the end of this year. That we have our exit strategy in place. It's brainstorm. They could set up a sewer district with another board, and that way they could levy from their residents to take care of the issues. Or, I don't know really why Johnson City sends, Johnson City sends Pittsburgh their bill. Pittsburgh charges $3 to separate the water and sewer. It sends that check to us, and we in turn pay the Johnson City bill. Why we got involved with that? I don't even know.
That was before my time.
Yeah, it was at the time it happened. I can say this, that this was all new. We had no idea. We were just trying to get things to keep working so that the residents wouldn't, the sewer system would stop. And, you know, at that time, it was a great, and once it stops, I mean, I don't know if they could go back to a septic or not. But it's a slow train, and the funds are dwindling. We're not on the hook for the bond, but you know, I think we need to address this, and by the extent, but most of all, what I'd like to do is work with Red and the board and all the entities, set a date by the end of this year. It's a strategy. Get our hands on. Because if we don't, I don't think we can do it. A sewer will John City can take it over. Whatever. I don't know. It means just set a date. So that's all I want to say about this. It's an issue that's drug on long. And we just can't.
And all this occurred, just a little backstory, all this occurred because White Ash dissolved in 2013, 2014. And they dissolved after having a loan out. So the town, the village was in debt whenever they dissolved.
Right. They took, USDA at that time was offering villages, low interest loans to help with infrastructure. And they saw the opportunity to bring in a sewer system. I think at the time, at the most, maybe they only had about 120 people on the system. Well, the town's dissolved. Said, we're out of here, the town dissolved. But they still have the system and they still have the bond. Now, what happens? Do they just default on the bond? Don't know. What happens then? You're not going to rip the sewer system out of the ground. I have no idea. I don't think anybody has any yet. I just know that I think it's time for this board in this county to get hands off so that the state doesn't look at us saying that we're the owners of the sewer system. We're the keepers of this whole. And they charge us with other duties that would cost out of the general. So I just like to say, I'd like to set a date by the end of this year. It's a strategy. So.
Well, that works for me. I had no luck the last 2 years trying to get any of that done.
So, you know, we can discuss as time goes on. So what could we do? What our plan? What could we do? We did this. What if they did that? So.
I think it's going to require the village to be constituted in some form or fashion, come together to form a new sewer district.
I think you could find enough residents that would.
Because, and that means forming a board.
Yeah.
It means choosing members. It means all of this is going to have to be done.
They could levy funds at the annual tax bill to the residents of White Ash, those that were. So that's all I wanted to say. It's just, I talked to Red about this, gave him all this reasons back
Right. Well, Jim, if you want to try, I'm all for it.
We'll start planning, we'll see, we'll come up with some ideas.
Commissioner Razor, do you have anything?
Brad, of all the things that were just discussed, is there anything that this board can do to force any other entity to take that over?
Not that I'm aware of. And that becomes the issue is if I've never stepped in, would we have had the responsibility to? I don't think we would have had the responsibility to. You can't just shut the pipe off. That's not gonna work either. We're just gonna not be happy as far as that goes. The problem that, since I've been involved in this, the problem has been there's not really anybody from the state agencies that have any answers. USDA or EPA have not given us any guidance as to what do you do in this situation. It's not common that you have an entire village or municipality dissolve. So there's not a lot of case law out there that assists with it. They could form their own water sewer board, so to speak. But again, it becomes difficult because you've got a limited number of houses, which is going to then raise the pricing. The ideal situation would be to get Johnson City to agree to take that. And even if they charged a different rate to those residents, I don't know of any way to force that to them.
I'll add to the chairman, I've had a more recent conversation with the mayor, very unofficial, just brought up and we chatted. It is my understanding that Johnson City is in the process of reevaluating and doing a study to try and qualify for grant money to improve their operation, at which point they are considering including White Ash in that.
Right.
We likely need to open up conversation there of what can we do to help that happen.
And that's,
If they're making any steps at all that direction, it seems we should help support them if we can.
you've probably had a more recent conversation with Mary than I have. The last time we talked was maybe 5-6 months ago. And he had mentioned, they've been talking about even the sewer treatment plant or upgrading the facility they had. And when I said there wasn't any appetite, no appetite to do this until they get that.
Correct.
No ducks in a row.
There was no timeline, as I understood on that.
And there was no timeline. And so it sounds like to me, you and I basically got the same information. And I will absolutely reach back out to the mayor. Jim?
I've got a list of all the councilmen's numbers and contact information. I'm gonna go talk to each.
Right.
I did, by the way, on that legal standpoint, saw policy, have that now, so legal recourse that your judge could force an entity to take it over due to health reasons, so. And like Brett said, I talked to EPA, they're at a loss because whenever there's a failure in the lift station and the sewage backs up into the street, they're ready to sue somebody or find somebody. Find somebody, but there's no one to find. They're at their wits end too. So, and I've been dealing with this. I've contacted our legislators, everyone.
And it's also my understanding from one of the conversations, either with the health department or EPA, that once a sewer system is installed, you cannot go back to septic in Illinois.
That's, yes.
That's my understanding.
Hence also the, with the new applications for people, there are people that do want to build out there, want to hook up with the sewer system. I know we have issues with it's comfortable with it. But talking with Brett and stuff. We really don't have the authority to do it. I think we need to back off all of that. So this is a slow train wreck. And when you really look at this, there are a lot of villages, not just in Williamson County or state or that are set up and have infrastructure. And you'll find out that a lot of these little villages, their boards are made up of family members. Sometimes there's a lot of squabbling. So when these members do decide to get off, people don't want to step up. There's no one to step up. So what happens is the village implodes. Now, they're, by statute, I believe they're required to finish out their business. Other than that, everybody walks away, and what do you do? They got infrastructure.
Okay, anything else on White Ash? Thank you, Jim, for that. Appreciate it. Moving on down to capital asset policy resolutions. And
I don't actually have a resolution or anything. I'm in the process of working with all the department heads.
Would you like to please stand and go to the next?
I'm in the process of verifying with all the department heads, their assets that are in their possession, control for the whole county. And in doing so, you guys have a capital asset policy resolution for 1300 that was established in 2018, and I'm just asking if you will review that resolution and perhaps update it. I feel like it can be improved. And so I just wanted to ask you guys to review that sometime in the next month or two and perhaps update that resolution to serve the county better. That was it.
that's a big part of your job, man, is the policy compliance. Appreciate it. Thank you. We will look at that. Does anybody have anything else for the business? Right, moving on down. I don't have any committee or board appointments or water board appointments. About public comment. Does anybody here like to make a public comment?
Thank you,
Good.
Chairman. Got a phone call the other day. Maybe you guys have gotten some of these phone calls about the recycling. That people have gone there and they have left the sign there, I think says you're selling. Very angry resident called me, let me know what the sign says. He has difficulty, long story short, getting there any earlier than 11:30. He's taking care of a parent. By the time he gets a parent up, dressed, fed, ready to go, it's later on, it's about 11:30. If the people who do the recycling there, progress for it, the trailer is full, then they take off. And he goes there with his recycling. Sick. A little frustration. I get it. I've had a couple of calls like this. So I called Lori from Progress, Lori Jones, talked with her about this. Got some difficulties here and there because they don't have another trailer. They don't have another driver with the way they're set up. We looked at some other issues. It was brought up, and how much of this recycling, I know they do take a lot, how much of it really adds to your business? She said, very good. More than happy to help them out, because they do provide jobs to challenge individuals. Get employment elsewhere. I think it's great. But at the same time, we have to look at the service that we provide for the residents. This is the service that has grown. So in discussing with her, she texted me back, and I'll read this text to you. It says, we are looking at the trailer they brought back today. There are some changes that can be made to help with some of the problem. Her husband Kevin says he can take out some of the seats out of the van. I guess they pulled it in the van to put more material back there. This would too. So She is trying to work with us on this, but I don't know what the other issue is. I said, you know, maybe even, the problem is, it's the holidays. You know, there's a lot of boxes from Christmas and New Year's over there. So this is the time of year, she's contributing some amount. People willing to recycle after Christmas. Will this die down? Maybe. But she's aware of it. She's looking for some solutions too. But I guess in finding out that, you know, this really doesn't end your overall business other than helping those individuals. Just food for thought. Don't know if you guys have any other thought on this, but as of right now, she's going to tell those individuals, even if the employees stay there. So I don't know if that solves anything either. So I don't know what the answer is, other than finding another member that could handle exactly what we specify. So if it comes to that, that's why I asked her how much business do we really get. So overall. I don't know if you guys have any thoughts.
And when you tie it to the holidays, it seems like something to monitor and see if it continues into the warm season. Then it seems like it's an issue that the board needs to tackle. Otherwise, it just seems like a temporary. We certainly don't want people frustrated. That's not what I'm saying. But if it's one or two, because if it's a seasonal thing, then I think we can deal with that for now.
Yeah, I didn't know if you guys got a lot of phone calls. I got a couple.
You know, my wife tried to drop it off before Christmas and there was nobody there. At 11:30.
So I don't know now, like I said, Kevin is looking on maybe adjusting the trailer a little bit. Don't know. Take the seats out of me.
So I tell you what, let's revisit this in a month. And if it's something that we need to look into, and using Progress Port and maybe another vendor to pick up the
And
access.
maybe if it's just Christmas season, contracting somebody that would help with it.
So, I mean, I think it's a good thing. We have a lot of people. I know this, I get calls whenever they're not there. I haven't gotten any calls this winter yet, but I have gotten calls in the past. And folks like that service, and we need to continue to do it.
On another note too, basically staying on this item, the building over there that we purchased. I've talked to Kevin and I asked if there was a way, being that he had a fork, to see if he could move that back over to the Lawson property and take it, close shape, and just get it out. I think there might be some damage to it, just sitting there.
Yeah, one of the windows was cracked.
And I think it's the same time. So Kevin, I don't know, do you have an update that you would like to say about moving it or?
It's Brian, but okay.
Sorry.
It's Brian, but okay.
I didn't know who he was talking about, Brian.
Yeah,
Why I said
I haven't believed I'm like,
mind, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, tell us about it, Kevin.
Yeah.
so I took a look at the building and the initial conversation that, the commissioner and I had was whether or not our forklift would pick it up. No, it's in excess of the rating on that forklift. I'm going to talk with George after the meeting today to see if he has any equipment. Otherwise, I'm going to get some bids to see what it would cost to get it moved. I'm going to go back to Colonial Buildings where it was purchased and just ask them what it would cost to move it. And if that's cost prohibitive, then I'll get with a wrecker service that has a rollback and it's on skids, so it can just be drugged back onto the rollback and moved over.
Do you have a use for it?
I do not. But I understand the need for moving it off of there into a secure place so that we don't incur homeless living in there and.
I think with the format of the building, with the porch, windows, the county doesn't have a use for it other than what it was doing. I think we're better served just get rid of it. Let's sell it, donate it. Let's move it.
I'd rather do that before we spend money to move it someplace and then just have it deteriorate.
And
People
that's
with money.
fine. Maybe actually be used as a driver. Taxes.
Okay, so on that, do we want to look into selling it?
I think so.
Okay, okay, we'll put together a unused asset. We'll get that taken care of. Well, we'll get that, bring it back to you guys.
That's good.
Okay. And while we're talking about storage units at the Tetzloff building, where the VAC, Veterans Assistance Commission is going to be in, there is a building behind there. I think you guys have all seen that.
Storage.
Right. I really would like to see that building gone. You guys see a reason why we shouldn't have that building gone. Okay, yeah, I guess we could. It's not, I don't know the floor is any good in it. But,
The only person who buys it knows it.
okay.
As it is.
We'll have,
I just wanted to add on that. I don't know if you guys are aware of Vets for Pets. Verna is the chairperson for that. She just started, but it's for veterans that, when they go into the VA hospital that have pets, there's no one to take care of them. So she started this working with another nonprofit, which has some buildings. You mentioned possibly donating. Verna might be a good reach to see if she's can utilize any of those buildings to refurbish them for her program for the Vets for Pets. I don't know if they would work or not, but I know she's used different mobile buildings. And that would be, obviously, I'd be remiss if we didn't, I didn't plug in for the veterans, so. And we have I talked to the board, we have no need for that building either. There's no, I mean, it's yeah. So
Is there anything in it?
excuse
Is
me,
there anything
it's
in it?
empty.
it's empty.
It's empty. It was a homeless individual a month ago. And I think that person's moved on. Did you have them reach out to the board, please?
Absolutely. Thank you.
And I guess we'll have them look at both buildings. Okay. Any other public comment today? Anything they'd like to say? Anything they'd like to add to the meeting today? Okay, under miscellaneous, does anybody have anything under miscellaneous? If not, we need to go into executive session and discuss personnel issues. Brett, what is that?
5 ILCS 122C1 and 12, pending or threatening litigation.
Okay, I make a motion that we go into executive session under that statute. Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Tim Atkinson,
Yeah,
Jim Marlowe.
Yeah.
Jim Knight.
thank you everyone for being here tonight.
Thank you, Stacy. Okay.